Welcome back. It's been a couple of days. We got just under 100,000 cats. It took a little bit longer than expected just because we kept getting attacked, which is annoying if you're trying to get stuff done, but it does add some extra combat experience, so I really can't complain about that. Today, we are going to go down to the grid, do some looting there, then take a break at Shark. Maybe if we like pass some kind of ancient lab, we'll see if there's any ancient science books worth looting. And then we're gonna head on straight through to Flats Lagoon. I don't know how it will go because our combatants they range from pretty good to terrible, but we do have a lot of people. We're fairly well equipped. Some changes on this run is that I've given our best fighters these horse choppers with the refitted blades that we've been saving, and they're not as good as the katanas. However, when we travel down to the grid and later on towards Flats Lagoon, there is a chance that we'll run into beak things and we'll have to take the fight. I don't think that the katanas are going to cut it then. The trade off for that is that our characters are much better with katanas than they are with sabers. But I think it's worth the switch out. And if nothing else, they'll be just carrying a little more weight, so they'll get a little more strength training out of it too. So with that, let's head on down to the grid and see how we do. Cross our fingers and hope for the best, right? If I was really being cautious, I would probably say, hey, let's take some more fights. Let's do some strength training. But ultimately, I'm trying to do this guide as quickly as possible so that you kind of have the information on how to structure it. If I were you, I would take things a little bit slower, go out into this starter area in the borderlands and just fight hungry bandits and dust bandits until you have really good combat skills and some better stats. But we'll take the risk and we'll see how it goes. All right, so it looks like we've already run into enemies. They're med sabers. I don't think we're going to be able to outrun them. So let's slow things down and take the fight. And I guess this will be a good indicator of how we're going to do. Although I say red sabers, but so far... Okay, there's the whole bunch of them later. Let's attack all. Let's pull our archers to the sides here. I mean, not the most... not the best start to our run, but, we'll see. This guy is trying to attack them, so let's all focus our fire on him. Looks like Griffin just went down. Alright, looks like we got more enemies coming in. More red sabers, actually. Well, there's nothing we can do, right? We gotta keep fighting our way through it. Let's pull green back now that we've got a melee guy on him. And he's hurting, huh? Alright, let's pull Pia out of there. We'll have Green just first aid himself. He's no use just crawling around on the ground. Okay, also, Mew just announced that she hates spiders, so gotta help us. It looks like some spiders are incoming as well. Yeah, there are. Blood spiders. I mean, the problem is we've got guys down. I'm not sure we're going to be able to outrun them, so let's keep going. My initial plan wasn't to run into 3 groups of mobs. Let's hope we can handle this and the spiders don't eat us. I mean, the problem is all these additional ads are just going to end up with us, the old enemies getting up and attacking us. So this might be just a death spiral here. Yeah, this looks like a party wipe right here. Well, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's not great. Let's have the people who are still alive heal themselves. And we'll have Headshot, who hasn't taken any damage, heal up the rest here. Don't know why these guys suddenly stop healing them. Left Soman, heal Shrike. I mean, honestly, we probably should have just gone straight in and started sneaking right away. No, it is where it is. I mean, I hope we can heal everybody before they all die, right? Alright, it looks like everyone that's conscious able to start healing other people because they're no longer bleeding out. Does this guy not have a healing kit or something? Okay, so all the guys that are conscious are able to start healing people, so let's get through it. Hope no one lost a limb. The bigger issue is that we kind of... Oh, you see these fighters are starting to come around. What I should have done is looted some of these blood spiders and whatnot. Poorly done. Yeah, and he lost a leg. Jesus! That is rough. I guess that answers my question of whether we could pull this off or not. I mean, getting 3 pulls at once, though, is really bad luck. In fact, if we had done it better, as soon as we saw that first Red Saber come in, we probably should have run out to the borderland and then took the fight up there so we wouldn't get any more ads, right? I mean, the problem is we got to wait for all these guys to come back to consciousness. I don't know. I'm going to call this one a wipe, and we're going to restart again because yikes. And we'll head into this. Also, I think we should probably just start sneaking right away. So we'll be able to see at least where the enemies are coming close to detecting us and whatnot. Okay, let's keep going. Also, I guess while we're traveling, we can talk about kind of the state of the state here. So one of the good things about having a base in a city is you don't have to worry about defense, you don't have to worry about raids and whatnot, and we've done as much as we can with it. However, the longer you sit in a town, the more likely it is to bug out. One of the reasons why we had so much problems offline and why it took so long to raise this money was we were getting in more fights. And one of the reasons for that is that the guards, kind of on the west end gate, they all completely disappeared. And it happens. Basically, they chase off after enemies, and they don't come back. And there's 2 ways you can fix it, really. The first is you grab your entire party, you move like across the map, and you wait a couple days, save and reload, and come back. However, doing that would also reset our base to its like original state, when it was just a hunk of junk, and we'd lose everything that we stored. So I don't want to do that. The other thing, I don't know what that is. I can't see it. Okay, it's just a tech hunter. That's fine. The other thing is you can actually go in the main menu, like when you can start a new game, load a game, and continue a game. You can choose to import, and you'll have different options when you import, and that'll fix everything. And technically, that's what I should do because I even have a vendor at a bar that no longer seems to restock their inventory. That's what I should do. Unfortunately, what happens is when you do that, all the vendor items restock. So all those ancient science books and engineering and AI cores that we've bought so far on our travels, that would restock. Now that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I know myself, and I know that I wouldn't be able to resist the temptation to just go in and buy a second round of books everywhere we've been so far. So I guess the moral of the story is if you can assure yourself from being in scummy behavior, feel free to go ahead and import the game. However, I know myself, and it's just such an urge to do. And you're kind of robbing yourself of kind of the next step of the game, which is going to be, well, for me, it's going to be the step after the next step, and that's to go out there and adventure and raid ancient science sites and take on danger to get those final bits of research that you want done. So do what you will, but understand if things get a little bit crazy back at Squin, that's the reason. I guess we used up all our bad luck in the last run, huh? All right. Now we want to get to the grid. I don't know if we cut this way or this way. Let's cut in this way. We might run into some skin spiders, but if it's not too many skin spiders, I think we should be okay. Let's cut this way. Don't exactly know why we're climbing up a mountain, but that's okay. The good news is, even though our base is kind of getting buggier and buggier, we're getting close to a point where I keep saying this, but we're getting much closer to forming our own base. So, gotta trust the process here, and disregard that last wipe you saw. I feel like we can see far enough ahead that we don't need to sneak. Let's pull our group together and start sneaking again. And make our last way into swamps. I keep thinking about that last wipe. Like, should I have just pulled? Okay, so there are a bunch of spiders here. Let's keep an eye out. Like, should I have pulled a tooth out from every one of those blood spiders before we went to healing? I mean, the problem is so many of our characters were dying. I don't know. We probably should have at least tried to. And the other problem is that, when like blood spiders die in this area, sometimes they'll like sink through the ground, and so you never really know if you got all of them. I'm gonna be running that tape in my head for a while. Alright, what do we got here? You guys see anything? Maybe we just cut off right now. Hope we can avoid whatever that is. Okay, some swamp ninjas. We're gonna have to take this fight. So let's get off of sneak and attack all. And let's grab our archers and put them up on this higher hill here. We'll grab our archers and take out this archer over here. No, we're going to take on this guy who's charging us. It's nice to see our archers doing some serious damage. They're getting better. Obviously, we're going to have to get them something better than a junk bow. But for right now, I'm pretty happy with how far they've come along. Well, except for Headshot, because he starts out really good at crossbows. Okay. Let's heal up everybody. So when you have a large group like this, they'll bump into each other and it kind of interrupts the healing process. It's super annoying. But if you've got a better way to fast heal everybody, love to hear it. Let's also splint up any injuries, the limbs. Okay. Let's also loot these guys. I believe they have fairly decent loot. Plus, looting them stop them from getting up and fighting us. I don't think it's worth taking these med kits. We can always buy enough on our own. The rest of this stuff, I don't think it's worth the hassle of looting. So we'll just disarm them basically and sell off the swords. That way, if we run into them again, they'll be a lot easier as well. I would kill for a mod that allows you to highlight downed foes. Because, like, we just defeated a guy right over here. I can't even find him, you know? Guess that's something to be said for these Swamp Ninjas camo, right? Now, I am purposely looting some of these guys with our weaker characters who haven't been fighting as much, you know, the ones who've been sitting at home crafting. Just because I want them to get a little bit of that strength in, and let's be honest, they're not going to be the best fighters. All right, I'm not seeing, you know, I'm sure there's other corpses that we missed, but I'm kind of blind, so let's just forget about it and let's move on. So the nice thing about the grid is it never got fully implemented. You can tell that originally it was going to be like those other ancient workshops and complexes where it's got, like, you know, crazed skeletons mounting crossbows and shooting at you that you're going to have to fight. But this place never really got fully implemented. So there are several workshops here that are completely unguarded. I want to say two, possibly three. Let's take a look here. Which way I'm looking. Right, there's nothing over in that direction. There is something in this direction, so let's try going up that way. Now, maybe sneaking is an overkill here, because like I said, an abandoned complex, there's no enemies here, but it is really close to the crater, and occasionally these big things will wander in, and you saw how we did in that first fight, so let's not let's not go around looking for trouble. Okay, it looks like you can't go any farther here, right? I guess you can. I guess you can't. There's one of the workshops. Well, let's try seeing if we can go any farther in this direction. I don't think we can. It looks like we can. And there's a second workshop right there. Can we sneak in here and see what's in there? If there's anything in there, so let's not bother. Well, it does say we can go a little bit farther, so let's try that out. There's nothing back there. Yikes, this camera. All right, let's go to this first workshop here. So we're going to grab our resident thief, Silvershade, and we're going to have him start working on these locked boxes here. We'll also grab, like, let's say Shrike, and she can loot these other machines. There's generally not that much useful stuff in these non-locked boxes. Okay, where are you going, Shrike? Shrike! Oh, for the love of God. Let's have you not... Let's turn off all the sneak on everybody, yeah? Maybe I'm just being a little overcautious here. And how did Shrike end up on the outside of this? Good God. Alright, we'll run her across this bridge, see if there's anything else worth looting while this guy picks the lock. There's a hacksaw, but we don't need it. We'll just run Shrike back there. We'll run her up. Start looting this stuff once it's been lockpicked. The good news is that Silvershade has just enough skill that he can start picking these locks. Would have been a lot rougher go if we hadn't had that. Meantime, we'll have Shrike loot this. See what we got. Oh, we got a decent horse chopper here. Let's take that. And we got some robotics components. We're not going to be doing robotics for a while, but it's worth quite a bit. I'm also just going to move Shrike here, and we'll trade off this horse chopper to, let's say, Rain the Giant, who's probably our best fighter. And then we'll hand this to Crumble John. I think Stubbs already has a horse chopper. Nice. I mean, really, what I want to see here is engineering research and science books, but okay. Silvershade got that one open real quick. We'll have Shrike loot this box here. All right, we got some engineering research. Very nice. We got a flesh cleaver that's really high grade, but we're just gonna sell it. We got some expensive like junk, like power cores. Got a really decent right arm here, robotic right arm. We'll keep that. And now that Shrike's loaded down, we'll grab the next guy in the list here, and so on and so forth. Grab Ruka. Okay, so what do we got here? We just got some swamp raptors. They're not aggressive, and even if they are, we can take them. So this looks like it's one of these ancient bases that was never fully implemented, because you see it's got nothing, it's just completely blank. So let's move on to the next one. All right, let's grab our thief again, put him to work. We'll grab Ruka up there as well. Okay, so that one's lockpicked. And I do love this music, though. Look at this engineering research. Mwah! Chef's kiss. This is exactly what we were looking for. We've also got an ancient science book, which we totally need. We got this stuff that we can sell for money. More skeleton repair kits for our skeletons. This stuff is just mediocre. Who cares? Another robotics component, which, technically we should save, but we'll sell. These generator cores, right? They sell for a good amount of money, but if you look at the weight, they're 20 kilograms, which is ridiculously heavy. I am going to take them, however, because they're really useful for strength training, and so it's kind of dumb. But this is basically the Kenshi equivalent of a dumbbell. So you fill up a backpack, like a wooden backpack, with a bunch of stacks of iron, and then you fill up your main inventory with these generator cores, and then you just run your guy around in a safe area, and you can really level up strength really quickly. Not necessary, but if you're planning on doing a weight training run, it's helpful. And while he's lockpicking, we'll just loot this other stuff. All right, we'll keep going. All right, we got a locked box here. Not worth carrying. All right, so we'll wait for this lock picking to get done here. The camera, though. Oh, God, the camera. I mean, all in all, this is a pretty good haul. I'm not going to bother with this stuff. Again, this is useful for robotics crafting. It's kind of heavy. I'm not going to carry all that stuff. It's actually not that heavy, but it's bulky, I should say. Maybe we'll take the copper alloy plates as well. All right, so that's it for this base right here. Grab everybody. Now I am a little bit worried about coming up here because the Skinners come here. But let's go there and if we start to get like some eyes on us, we'll just back away slowly, right? What's the worst that can happen? Now, just so you know, there are some decent places you can raid here for science in the crater, but we we will not survive there. Way too many beak things. They are no joke. I don't know why they're running backwards this way. Okay, I'd say that was a very successful haul. If I hadn't immediately wiped at the start of my stream, it would have been flawless. We're almost out. All right. I say that we cut straight to shark. I don't know if it's worth taking the roads because it still like cuts through kind of a longer way around, and it still cuts through lakes and whatnot. Let's do something dumb and like just path directly for the swamp village. See what happens. Oh, those are just turtles. Okay. So those turtles we just passed, they're non-aggressive, but they have a whole bunch of meat on them. So if you're ever in a situation where you need a lot of meat to cook, hunt these guys in the swamps. You know what? Those stories are even better, right? Like not only vengeance, but there's some kind of redemption arc to it. It just makes for great emergent storytelling, you know. For as janky as the camera can be and as buggy as the game can be, it's just it really does the sandbox thing really well, you know. We're gonna avoid this outpost. I forget whether this ruin has any ancient science that we can steal, so let's just leave it alone for now. We can always come back later now that it's marked on our map. I do not love how much my group is split up. All right, so those are just some swamp wrappers. We're not too worried about them. All right, we've done pretty well. Let's keep on moving over to shark. You know what we can do while we're here, though? We can buy some more food. Because unfortunately, our food vendor, he's kind of one of the food vendors of the two, and Squin's kind of bugged. And our group is just getting so big, we have to buy as much food as possible. I don't think it's cost efficient to buy the thin fish. We'll only buy the dried fish. Let's see if there's any other vendors here, not counting this guy here. Nope. Okay, well, a little bit more food doesn't hurt. Let's pull our group back into the village, and maybe we can get some help with defense. Again, let's keep our guys back here so we can get some cover from the villagers. Let's pull our archers out to the sides. All right, let's heal up real quick. Why did Pia get hurt? Alright, I'll have Lurkin pick up Soman. We could stop to loot these red sabers. If you look at their gear, it's not that great. So I say we just forget about them and move on. However, before we move on, make sure we have our whole party. And head on to Shark. Just saw some red sabers ahead. I don't know where they went. Who cares though? We're at the gates. Alright, we'll turn off Sneak now that we're in Shark. And we'll put our guys to bed that need to go to bed. Alright, let's get moving. Throw on another Sneak. Mew says there's spiders around, but I don't see them and they don't see us, so let's keep moving, right? But let's stay together, yeah? All right, let's head on out and over. Not the friendliest. Let's see who's up ahead of us here. I mean, am I completely blind? Slow things down a little bit. I do not see. All right, well, whatever. Whatever it was, it's gone now. It looks like just some river raptors, so we're good. I don't know why we're sneaking here. We should be able to survive. I don't know why you guys can't stay on the roads. So we gotta be a little more careful here because there are beak things and more powerful bone dogs. However, we also kind of want to rush through because this is that area of the map where the giant space laser comes down and starts burning stuff in the middle of the day. So I think it's worth trying to run through here. Ah, there we go. What's this here? Oh, those are just nomads. That's fine. All right, who's that up there? Guerrilla bandits. Slow down and sneak by. What do we got here? Looks like it's some traders. In fact, it's probably a hive trader, yeah? Let's go and trade with this hive trader, huh? All right, let's sell off our remaining gear here. We'll keep the arm in case we need it. It's also a very good arm. We'll keep the rest of this stuff. There's nothing here we really want. Got boneyard wolves. Let's try to run away. All right, they are not running away. So, what do you say we try to kite them towards that drone caravan? I don't see them, do you? All right, looks like we're gonna have to take this fight. I'm not sure how we'll do. Let's find out. Yeah. I mean, maybe we can run away from them. Oh, nice. They're gonna attack this guy instead. Thank you so much, random hiver. No, no, they're coming for us. No, no, they're coming for him. And those dogs hit hard. I love lurking. Pick her up. And let's sneak and move. Have lurking pickup jewel and like Soman loot this boneyard dog. In fact, let's just have Hamut pick up jewel. It's kind of a good thing that those boneyard dogs got distracted, because I think if they had come at us full force, it would have been very difficult for us. All right, who do we got here? Guerrilla bandits. Let's see if we can outrun them, or at least run them to the gate guards. All right, looks like we're not gonna outrun them. Let's take this fight, yeah. What are you attacking? It looks like they're running for our archers. So let's have them just fight guy. All right, I think we're gonna survive this one, guys. All right, pretty good, pretty good. Let's heal up real quick and get out of here. They're not gonna have any good loot because they're martial artists. Man, they pack a punch, huh? And my guy just threw Jewel, just way out there. Okay, so we'll have lurking pick up Jewel again, and we'll have Shrike pick up. Oh, rain's up. So is there anybody here with like a hurt leg? All right, good enough. Let's get out of here. All right, let's see what if there's something we can sell here. There we go. All right, so I am looking for Chad here, and I don't see him. But while we're here, let's buy some more food. Now, how about this? Let's hold off on buying more food until we buy up what we came here to buy, just namely any ancient science books or research information that we. Okay, nice. Wow, look at that. 8 science books and 2 engineering. That's a pretty good haul. We almost died coming here. Well, we did once, and we almost did a second time there, but all right, let's see what they got in here. All right, let's recruit Chad. He'll be the last guy in our group here. All right, now let's get him some equipment. All right, I think everybody's healed up, so let's go downstairs. and we'll head over to the other bar. And we'll hire this mercenary for maybe 2 days. With that, we'll head on out. Let's head home. Did I go the wrong way? Certainly did. All right. Let's keep going. Also, let's just start sneaking as well. At least until we get to the part with the space laser. All right. Time to stop sneaking. I think we're out of Venge. Keep going. Who's attacking us? Dust bandits. We're fine. Nice. I don't know who they're attacking, but let's not do that. Also, let's see if our mercs need any healing. Oh, looks like they took care of themselves. So let's head on out. Keep moving. Who's that ahead of us? More dust bandits. Let's just take the fight. We'll move our archers here to the side. So now our mercs decide to come and help. Maybe they were beating up the other dust bandits that had just woken up. Okay. We took surprisingly a lot of damage on that one, but I'm still feeling really good about our chances, only because we do have the mercs with us. And any combat experience is good combat experience, as long as you don't die. Okay. Did I forget to give the med kits? Yeah, I forgot to give the med kit to Chad. Do that. Keep on moving. It's probably faster to go up this way through Shem. So let's do that. I mean, may run into some bandit situations, but I don't know why our mercs are falling behind. Um, maybe they're too weighed down and their athletics isn't good enough. It's kind of annoying that they can't keep up with us. I mean, that's the whole point of that. It looks like we've got some dust bandits, but let's see if we can't sneak on by them. Avoid the fight. Alright, well. Now would be a good time for our mercs to. Yeah? We're doing okay, all things considered, but the problem is some of our guys are getting low on like stomach and head, and so they're a lot easier to KO now. In any case, let's keep on going. Get out of here. Probably would have been smarter to go this way north and then past the way station through the border zone, but we're kind of committed now because I took a wrong turn. Let's keep moving. So that mercenary contract was like the worst money we ever spent. But we're getting out slowly. Alright, so it looks like you see some spires around. And I must be blind because I'm not seeing anything. Got some more. Again, I'm not seeing anything. So well, whatever it was, we managed to sneak on by. So we got here some blood spiders. Take them out. So what's this attacking us? All right. I'll have lurking pick up green finger. Back to sneaking. Let's see if we can't avoid that fight. Yeah. All right. So he's just running off. I mean, we're gonna have to follow him. Maybe he clears the way and attacks some bandits or something for us. Again, I feel like I'm getting false alarms because I don't see any of these enemies. All right, whatever it was, we outran it. And let's get out of here. I say we just cut north. Well, this is a little more dangerous, but it's a little bit faster. So let's take this route. By the way, if you're looking for a base location, for like a starter base, this is actually a very good one. If you look around, you'll see that like up on the north, somewhere around here, it's like a sheer drop cliff, so you only have to build 3 sets of walls. It's fairly flat, and there's a good resource distribution. And if you build your base big enough, you get like a spread of swamp and desert, so it really kind of opens up what you can grow. Downsides to this area is that there's swamp raptors, and swamp raptors aren't counted as enemy creatures; they're neutral. But if you start building crops in the area, they'll knock down your gates to eat your crops, and your guys aren't going to shoot at them because they're technically not a hostile like enemy. So that can be kind of annoying. But this is a good starter base location. It's also fairly close to a Squin and the Hub and Shark, so you got plenty of places to sell and whatnot. You can even make an alliance with the Hounds down in Shark, and they'll help you out with base defense occasionally, that kind of thing. This one's a little longer, but I think it's probably a safer route. I don't want to leave Womp in the dust, you know? It's getting a little wild here, guys. Okay. Well, we did it. If we discount that first wipe we had immediately. So what I'm going to do offline, I'm going to drop off the research, set up the research queue, assign some jobs, and I think the next stream what we're going to do is we're going to build our first temporary base. It'll be somewhere like here or here, probably either around here or here, wherever we can find a good source of stone. And we'll just set up a quick stone mining and processing operation. Because really, the only thing that we're low on for this base is building material. Kind of want to say have like 20 units per person, and we've got, let's say, 30 individuals. So we want to have around 600. What we could do is just mine like regular, and then buy the storage material from the shop and the way stations. Perfectly valid way to do it, but it'll it'll take a little bit longer, and we still need combat experience. And one way that we can do that is by creating a base. It'll start base raids, and we still have guards here, so we can go and fight the base raids if our base is like up here or down here. And then if it's too much for us, we can fight them back to the guards. And then ultimately, once we hit our goal for building material, we'll talk about building the base.